Hi everyone, Zoe here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this was never intended to be a solo video. You'll have seen it pop up in my Liquid Toolkit video, which I just did before this, and when I was editing that I had it slapped right in the middle of the video. And the trouble is that video was getting quite long anyway, so I cut this out and it's basically being presented to you as a little bonus feature. So, sit back, relax, and watch this quite bizarre idea for an EDC item I came up with. Now I'll fully admit this is probably more of a novelty, but you never know, psychologically or spiritually someone might get something out of having this as either in your bug out bag or your EDC items. I've had to go some pretty strange things for this channel, and this definitely ranks up there as one of them, and possibly one of the more expensive for the volume as well, but it is holy water. Now this one purports to being from the Sea of Galilee, and even with my very rudimentary understanding of Christianity I know how important a site that is. So maybe you'll get some benefit from this. Or maybe you're just fighting off vampires who aren't Ben Cortman, and you might find it useful to have on you. Now, the way I say that it's just mostly as a novelty, you know we try to do this one-handed, is because knowing I was using Sushi Fish, which are already a pretty strange item anyway, I wanted to include holy water, as though it's not a religious icon per se, it's not a crucifix or anything like that. It is it consecrated? It's a holy item of some description, but I'm not quite sure the correct terminology. Any theologians can probably tell me. But there we go. I now have holy water, which is recognised by the Christian faith as being an article of religion, inside a plastic sushi fish, aka symbol of the fish, which is also a religious symbol related to Christianity. So I'm also going to show you a slightly weird way of EDCing one of these, and this is the one I had in mind for it. So for my EDC idea for this holy water sushi fish, let me just explain what you're looking at. I've got a small piece of cardboard with a standard sewing needle poking out of it with point upwards. The cardboard's basically just to give it a more stable base. Speaking of stable bases, we've got a melted Crayola crayon. I just melted the tip and put it on a small piece of metal just so it's got more of a base. Now if you're in the survival community very much, you obviously learn the standard hack about turning a Crayola crayon into a candle. What happens is the exterior paper acts as a wick, and you can see times vary for this, but I've had one of these burn for about 14 minutes, and that's about the average I've seen. As you can see, it takes a while to get them going, so they're not particularly useful when you're trying to conserve resources. So there we go. One thing YouTube unfortunately doesn't illustrate is how wonderful the smell of one of these is. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my needle, I'm going to hold it by the cardboard just so I don't burn my fingers, because obviously the heat is going to transfer down the needle. And I'm not going for red hot or anything silly like that, I'm just going for enough to melt the plastic of this sushi fish, but with some degree of accuracy. So I'm just going to pinch it, and I'm going to try and do 2 holes in this tail. Also the heat is just going to help it slide through easily. First time I saw this method actually being done was my friend doing a Warhammer figure, and he was making a Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul. Unfortunately this is the method he used for getting the lightsaber through Qui-Gon Jinn, spoiler alert. So that's a bit of a pain to try and wiggle out, but that's what I've created. I've created one small hole, which the flame is kind of not helping me there. And I'm just going to do another. Hopefully without my finger burning my cardboard. It wasn't brilliant when it came to actual accuracy. And there we go. So I've got 2 very, very small holes on this sushi fish, as you can probably just about see. After a bit of scraping off some of the burnt plastic with my fingers, this is what I've ended up with. Also, you can tell from the size of it compared to my fingertip, those are absolutely minuscule holes, but hopefully, because the hot needle has basically been forced through it, it should have created two channels that should be waterproof. Well, the actual liquid doesn't go to the tail of these fish, but I like the idea of just reinforcing it slightly. So with a bit of heat going through, I should have some nice secure channels to run some cordage through. So those small holes don't give me too many options for cordage, so I'm just going to take some number 36 bank line and break down some of these threads. Obviously I could use other types of cordage like Kevlar cordage, maybe even those T-Rex laces that I see around that are for friction cutting, or things like micro paracord, which I'm also a big fan of. So I'm just going to cut off a nice section of this cordage. Which is giving my Orthicanox a few problems there. And all I'm going to do is break this down. Like I say, I'm a recent advocate of bank line. I never really gave it any attention until I saw Dave Canterbury using it in a lot of his videos, and it's one of those. When I was a big fan of paracord, then I tried bank line, and now I'm a much bigger fan of bank line. Although this is the first time I've ever tried to unravel any, so hopefully, due to the process of being on camera, it won't be too bad. But all I want is to unravel some of this. Also, because this is tarred, it's a degree of waterproof, which is good. It has many other uses. Trouble is, it also binds up really easily because of that tar giving it extra friction. So this is going to take me a little longer than I anticipated. Hope you're not all bored of watching me fiddle with this. It's got very much the feeling of untangling Christmas lights. I seem to have got a good technique for that stretch. Until it binds it up again on itself. Now I should have a much thinner piece. But I still think that is going to be too thick for my sushi fish. Let's have a slight comparison on the fingertip. So there's the cordage, there's the holes in my thing. It's still much too big. So let's break it down one more time if we can. Draw your fingernails. Again, one of the main faults of this channel is survival mistakes. And basically, a mistake doesn't have to always be a bad thing. So while I am quite embarrassed how long this is taking me on camera, this is honestly the first ever example of me ever doing this. And there might be someone out there that's also going to struggle when they do this for the first time. Maybe, knowing that I struggled a bit on camera for the first time, they might feel a bit more reassured, knowing that a lot of people on the YouTube community are obviously very smart in the way they film things, so they do perfect kind of effect. They never seem to make any mistakes, but that's not very useful. It gives newbies and people with sort of limited skills, shall we say, they get very self-conscious about why they can't do something first time, and it gives the impression everyone else can. And that's not useful for anybody. So although I am struggling here, hopefully people will see it for the human effort it is, and not my absolute failure at untangling things. So I'm not going to bore you any longer, I'm going to skip ahead. So I've stripped down this 36 bank line twice now, and it's left me with a thread this thin by comparison. Should just put those on my fingertips so we can see. Much thinner. Now hopefully, fingers crossed, if I just straighten that out a little bit, it should be thin enough to go through the holes of the sushi fish. And that is a pretty big success to me. Trying to do things and remain in camera is a skill I have not yet acquired, although that was the first time I have ever threaded, first time I ever threaded the sushi fish on camera, and it's the first time I've ever untwined bank line. So while I've got two holes, I just want to give it an extra bit of security. Obviously anything like this putting holes in something that didn't have holes in, I've created a weak point, a degree of failure, or an area of potential failure. Let's try and get this one through here. I don't think this second hole is quite as forgiving as the first, which is annoying. I left the needle out, I might have been able to needle it through. So I was struggling to get it through the second hole as an example. So it's gone through one, it's only gone through the other, it's a little bit smaller. So I've got the needle that I used for the burning. Hopefully this will just help me out a little bit. And there we go. Take my needle off. Now I can easily thread through my cordage. I'm going to roughly go till the ends are almost the same length. It's roughly about right. And all I'm going to do is stick a simple overhand knot in once we've got these two a bit more sorted. There we go. It's not real clear. I'm just going to put a simple knot in, and I've basically made a very Christian EDC item. Obviously, Christian and EDC is usually more crucifix or crosses, depending on your denomination. But there we go. One symbol of the fish. And there we go. One holy water filled Christian EDC item. There's a necklace. The reason I put two holes in rather than one is so the fish would sit horizontally like that, and you can see the outline of the fish. Much easier than if I put one in, it should have been sideways all the time. So there we go. Very unusual EDC item. Thank you for watching this video on the Christian EDC item. As ever, please like and share the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. And if you want to go support me on Patreon, I'm on there. It would be very much appreciated. And as ever, get out there and do the impossible every day. Thank you.